Okay, this video today is a little bit unusual. It started out to be a video about hardware information and where can you find the most information. And what I found, system reports, believe it or not, in case you don't know where it is, it's over here under administration, down here, system reports. I right click and add it to my panel, so mine is down here. So I've been using it a lot lately. At any rate, we can ignore this driver. I don't want to install that driver. I've had issues with it. So under system information, you'll find all this information. Everything about the system, about the machine, the motherboard, the CPU, graphics, detailed information, audio information, network information, including the device names and all that stuff. Even the drives, it shows the drives, it shows what their speed capability of. This one is 31.6 gigabytes because it's an NVMe. But it goes down the list, it shows all the drives that are installed right now. I'm using my audio from my cell phone because I wanted to use the headphone jack for another drive. I wanted to show all these different drives and how confusing it can get trying to figure out which drive is which. So this evolved into a lesson on figuring out which drive is which. But let's finish this part first. So I come down here, it shows partition ID for the primary drive, the file system drive. Shows a swap file, and then it shows all the USB devices that are connected and the hubs they're connected to. And the beauty of it is it shows the speed of the hub, then it shows the speed of the device connected to that hub. For example, this Logitech keyboard, the hub's capable of 480 megabits, but it only operates at 1.5 megabits. And this drive operates at 480 megabits. That's the most it can do in that hub. So if you go down the line, there's different hubs. We've got hub 3 is also capable of 480. That's USB 2.0 actually. And on that hub, we've got these devices. For storage, it's a drive, which is not good to have the drive on the 480 megabyte port 2, right? USB 2 port. So that needs to be fixed. We got a printer. The other printer's turned off, or it would show up. There'd be two printers. And this is our serial converter, which allows us to save our internet with these icons over here on the desktop. I can turn the internet on, turn it off, which basically turns off the power to a bridge, which disconnects the router from the internet. When the computer is not in use, then I disconnect the internet. There's no reason to allow people to access my router, even though it's very secure. There's no reason to let them access the router, even though I'm not using a computer. So I only turn it on while I'm using a computer. Okay, hub number 4, it's a 5 gigabyte lane speed, and it shows which devices are connected to that one. Then we have the sensors. It tells you the fan speed, fan RPM, all this stuff. Repos, repositories. I don't know much about that. It shows how many packages there are. And I just don't know about that. Final info, total memory 32 gigabytes. And the processing uptime and this kind of stuff. You can read it yourself. But there's so much information here that's not available anywhere else that I found under Linux, Mint version 22.2. So now let's get into what I found quite interesting. That is that these drives aren't described very well. I can't relate this information to my file manager information over here. So I went through a lot of trouble today to figure that out. So if you include the terminal command here, ls block, it helps solve this mystery. For example, if you put your mouse on there, it tells you, it doesn't tell you that it's this one right here, but it is that one. It's your system. So I put all this stuff together on a file. And what I added was the volume name. So I know the volume name for this ID1 drive. I know the volume name for this ID2 drive, etc. on down the list. So now I can relate the file manager to this guy. And then I actually had to go one more step on this drive down here. Is ID6. That's a VNME plugged into a converter to USB SSD. So it doesn't say much about the drive. Since it's a PCIe 581, that didn't tell me much. So I had to go somewhere else to get that information. When you first start it up, it only lists the primary drive, which is your system files drive. But if you go up here and click this drop down, then we can go down. We want to look at this SDF. So we can click on this SDF. Now it tells us there's two partitions on that SDF. But notice he doesn't say SDF1 or SDF2. He just says SDF. He apparently doesn't know how to deal with that. So I know there are two partitions, in fact, and I know it's 476 gigabytes, which is my VNME. That's how I can identify the drive. I don't have very many drives that big. So it took all these different programs to really determine this final list, which I now I understand what each drive is. It can be described any way you want it to. I can still figure out what it is. So you might want to do this. And that was the whole purpose of this video. I wanted to show you that there is this thing called system reports. And the first part of it, the reports, shows you any hardware drivers that you should change, or at least that it recommends you should change. And then the system information has all this information about your computer. So this should have helped a lot of people. I know it certainly was helping me to figure this out.